What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Keaton Talk Sports here, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Link is in the box below. Fifth mock draft of this NFL season. Same story as usual. I'm gonna give you guys my overall perspectives on why I think each player fits in with these particular organizations. This is my first mock draft with trades, so let's not waste any more time here. This is my NFL mock draft 5.0. With the first pick of the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears will be selecting quarterback Caleb Williams out of USC. Not much to say here. He's your quarterback number one. Not much to debate. I don't want to keep going on and on about this. Caleb Williams is going to be the number one guy, whether if Chicago Bears fans like it or not. So that's where we are. It is what it is. With the second overall pick, the Washington Commanders will be selecting quarterback Drake May out of North Carolina. Same story. Like I said in my last mock draft, I think Caleb Williams is your number one guy. I think Drake May is your number two. I know there's some fans that disagree. They think that Jayden Daniels could go here with this pick, which I could see happening as well. But Drake May, he has the physical tools. He has the size. I think he fits in tremendously well with the Washington Commanders, like I said, as they start the rebuild process. So great pick for the Commanders. They just got to continue to build and put pieces around Drake May to be successful. With the third overall pick, I have the Minnesota Vikings trade up with the New England Patriots. So the Patriots will be taking picks 11, 23 in next year's first round pick. The Vikings will be taking the third overall pick. So with that being said, the Minnesota Vikings will be selecting quarterback Jayden Daniels out of LSU. I think this is a phenomenal pickup for the Minnesota Vikings as they are looking for their guy. I know Sam Darnold is currently on the roster, but he's not going to be starting for them anytime soon. The Minnesota Vikings, and I think Jayden Daniels is in a perfect situation. You have guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and all those guys on their team. So you have some talent there to start off with. So Jayden Daniels, I think he fits in tremendously. I think he can be able to give Justin Jefferson the ball consistently. I think that'll be one heck of a quarterback, wide receiver tandem right there. So Jayden Daniels in this situation, I think this is a win-win situation for the Minnesota Vikings and for Jayden Daniels. With the fourth overall pick, I have the Los Angeles Chargers trading up with the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cardinals will be taking picks 5 and 37, and the Chargers will be picking here at pick 4. So with that being said, the Chargers will be picking wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State. I think this is another great pickup for the Chargers. Like I've been saying, continue to give Justin Herbert talent on the outside, something he hasn't had in his career. Marvin Harrison Jr. is listed as a generational prospect. He has all of the physical tools. He has the speed. He has the size to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants offensively. I think this is a great situation for him. And like I said, you're able to compete right away. I'm not saying it's guaranteed because you have Jim Harbaugh who just got there and he's trying to build this thing back up. But this is a good start for the Chargers. You get your guy Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with Justin Herbert, something that Herbert hasn't had in his career. So I think this is a phenomenal pickup for the Chargers, as I think Marvin Harrison would definitely upgrade the Chargers offense for sure. With the fifth overall pick, I have the Cardinals trading down, like I just said. So I have them picking wide receiver Roman Dunze out of Washington. Like I said, I think this is a good pickup for the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray needs someone on the outside to rely upon. Week in and week out, Roman Dunze brings pretty much brings everything that the Cardinals need. He has the size, he has the speed, he can win one-on-one matchups, pretty much could do whatever he wants. I think Kyler Murray would appreciate him having him on his team, as he's a big playmaker, and like I said, with another guy that can upgrade the Cardinals offense tremendously. So great pickup for the Cardinals. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense to surround Kyler Murray as much talent as possible. With the sixth overall pick, I have the New York Giants selecting wide receiver Malik Nabers out of LSU. This pick makes a whole bunch of sense. Like I've been saying before, the New York Giants need playmakers. Daniel Jones needs playmakers that he can throw the ball to on the outside, something he's never had really in his career, something the Giants have never really had in a very long time. Malik Nabers, another guy that can play make. He can win one-on-one matchups. He's fast. He can separate. Really good at separating. Something the Giants haven't really had. So I think Malik Neighbors definitely upgrades the Giants significantly offensively. And like I said, some people have the Giants going quarterback here, JJ McCarthy. I just don't think that makes sense to go with a quarterback. You just signed Daniel Jones, like I mentioned in my last mock video. You just signed Daniel Jones to a long-term extension last offseason. So why not give him one more opportunity or two to surround him with actual pieces like a Malik Neighbors and other pieces and see if that works. And if he's not your guy, then you can reevaluate at that position. But right now, I don't think it makes sense for the Giants to take another quarterback. Get a wide receiver. Giants fans would agree with this. Malik Neighbors, I think, makes a whole bunch of sense. You could also go Roman Dunze if he ends up falling here as well. But I like Malik Neighbors in this situation with the New York Giants to help Daniel Jones out offensively. With the 7th overall pick, I had the Tennessee Titans selecting offensive tackle Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Same situation, like I said last time. The Titans need offensive line help. Will Levis needs all the help that he needs. Like I said, he's taken a lot of hits towards the end of last year. Joe Alt is a 6'8", big specimen guy who can hold his own. Very vicious on the offensive line, can hold his own. And I think Will Levis would really appreciate having a guy like Joe Alt on the offensive line that can protect them at all costs, which I think it's really, really a big need for the Tennessee Titans. With the 8th overall pick, I have the Atlanta Falcons selecting edge rusher Jared Verse out of Florida State. You can make an argument here they could take Dallas Turner, but Jared Verse, like I said, he's one of the best edge rushers in his draft. He's vicious, coming off the line, very efficient against the quarterback. He's one of those guys that never takes plays off. He just does his job, and he's at the right spots at the right time. I think this is a significant upgrade for the Falcons defense. Like I said, as you got your guy Kirk Cousins at quarterback on the 4-year deal. So why not get a guy like Jared Verse, who I think makes the Falcons defense that much better, that much scary. And like I said, if things continue to progress for them in free agency and the draft, I think this team could be a playoff team next year, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. But I like this pick for the Atlanta Falcons here at pick 8. With the 9th overall pick, I have the Denver Broncos trading up to the 9th pick. I have the Bears taking picks 12, 76, and the 2025 second round pick, and the Broncos will be taking the 9th pick. So with that being said, the Denver Broncos will be selecting quarterback JJ McCarthy out of Michigan. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense. Look at the situation here. Denver Broncos, they don't have a second round pick. So they really need to hit on a quarterback here, whether if it's JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix or whatever the situation is. You got to get a quarterback here for Denver Broncos. Jarrett Stidham, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not the guy going forward. Get your guy in JJ McCarthy. I think he fits in tremendously with Sean Payton and stuff like that. And just continue to surround JJ McCarthy with pieces. I like this situation. I just think that makes a whole bunch of sense. Just continue to surround him with talent as they start their rebuild process as well. With the 10th overall pick, I have the New York Jets selecting tight end Brock Bowers out of Georgia. It's one of those situations where the Jets did take care of the offensive line. They did get Tyron Smith in free agency. Now you can make an argument here that they could go with another offensive tackle, maybe it's Talise Fuaga or Troy Fautanu, in case someone on the offensive line gets hurt. Then you have insurance that can step in right away and play and make an immediate impact for that Jets offensive line. But Brock Bowers, like I said, I like this pick for the Jets. This gives Aaron Rodgers another deep threat down the field and stuff like that. Another playmaker. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers, you got to maximize the 2 years that he has left on his deal. You got to put pieces around him. I know he's working his way back from injury, but I think this pick makes sense if you want to go this route if you're the New York Jets. But it also wouldn't hurt to get another offensive lineman just in case one of those Tyron Smith or whoever on the offensive line gets hurt. Then you have insurance on that side. But Brock Bowers, like I said, if you go this route, I can't really blame the Jets for taking them with the 10th overall pick here. With the 11th pick, I have the Patriots trading back from the 3rd pick to the 11th pick. I think this makes a whole bunch of sense. So with that being said, the Patriots will be selecting offensive tackle Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Like I've been saying before, the Patriots had one of the worst offensive lines last year, towards the bottom of the league. Olu Fashanu would jumpstart the rebuild for the New England Patriots. You got to solidify the offensive line for the Patriots. There's just no ifs or buts about it. You know, you can pick a quarterback here, which I hope we do pick a quarterback because we do need a quarterback. But the Patriots cannot make the same mistake like they did with Mac Jones by throwing him behind a bad offensive line, and look what happened to Mac Jones. I don't want that same thing to happen to Jaden Daniels or Drake May, whoever we decide to pick at quarterback. But I think if the Patriots decide to trade back, which I think there's a good shot that they do, knowing the New England Patriots, they take Olu Fashanu. I think this makes perfect sense. Like I say, he has a size. I think he can hold his own. And whether if Jacoby Brissett or whoever is at quarterback, you have Olu Fashanu who can hold his own, like I said, and I think he can be around for a very long time and can be a very good offensive tackle throughout his NFL career. So I think this pick makes sense for the New England Patriots at pick 11. With the 12th overall pick, I have the Bears trading back from 9 to 12, and I have them taking edge rusher Dallas Turner out of Alabama. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense. You know, you got Caleb Williams, your guy at 1, so why not go more towards the defensive side of the ball? Dallas Turner can slip in right away on that Bears defense next to Montez Sweat. 1-2 duo. That would be a scary, scary duo right there. Dallas Turner on one side, and you have Montez Sweat on the other side. I think that improves the Bears defense a lot. Now, the Bears did improve towards the end of the season last year defensively, but adding a guy like Dallas Turner, like I said, who's very ferocious, very disruptive on that side, who can, get to the quarterback without any issues. I think the Bears have to hit on this. I think you wouldn't hurt to get a guy like Dallas Turner or even a Jared Verse at this pick. Both guys are very phenomenal athletes. But I like this pick for the Chicago Bears. I think this improves their defense significantly. With the 13th overall pick, I have the Las Vegas Raiders selecting offense tackle Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. This pick makes a whole bunch of sense because you look at the situation, the Las Vegas Raiders already got their guy in Gardner Minshew, and they have Abe McConnell. Antonio Pierce reports have already said that those two are going to battle out for the starting position. So some people have the Raiders picking Michael Penix at this pick, which I think would make sense because I think he could be an immediate number 1 starter right away. But Talise Fuaga he's a Raider. He's a Raider. Just the way he plays, his physicality, his vicious with his hands, all that stuff. He just fits the description to what the Raiders want to do. I think Antonio Pierce would appreciate having him on his team, who I think can protect whoever is, whether if it's Aiden McConnell or if it's Gardner Minshew at quarterback. I think they're going to get the protection that they need desperately with this pick. I think Talise Fuaga makes a whole bunch of sense. I think he improves that offensive line a lot. That's what the Raiders really need help on at the offensive line here. So this pick makes a bunch of sense. I like this pick for the Raiders at pick 13. With the 14th overall pick, I have the Eagles trading up with the New Orleans Saints. Saints will be taking picks 22, 53, and the 2025 second round pick. Eagles will be taking picks 14 and 190. So with that being said, the Eagles will be selecting their guy, cornerback Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Like I've been saying in my previous mock drafts, the Eagles need help in the back end of that defense. Period. End of story. I mean, you saw what happened last year towards the end of the year. Their defense just collapsed at the end of the year. They just couldn't get together, giving up too many points on that side of the ball and stuff like that, and they need to address this position immediately. Now, you could make an argument. You could go Jackson Powers Johnson because you did lose your center to retirement this offseason. So you could go there, but I think going more towards the defensive side of the ball in the back end of that defense, Terrion Arnold really fits the Eagles in terms of trying to improve that defense tremendously. I think, like I said, he has the size, the guy that's always at the right spots at the right time, and he doesn't beat himself too much. He's always very disciplined on that side, and I think, like I said, he just makes the Eagles defense that much better. This pick makes sense. The Eagles will be making a big mistake by not going cornerback here at the 14th pick. With the 15th overall pick, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers trading up with the Indianapolis Colts. Colts will be taking picks 20, 84, and a 2025 second round pick. Steelers will be picking 15. And with that being said, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be getting their guy, center Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon State. Like I've been saying in my last mock drafts, all that stuff, the Steelers don't have a center currently on their roster. They need to address this position ASAP. Jackson Powers Johnson fits in tremendously with the Pittsburgh Steelers. With all the talent that Pittsburgh has gotten this offseason, getting Jackson Powers Johnson will only put the icing on the cake for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a great offseason. Get your guy, Jackson Powers Johnson, who I think fits in not just with the Steelers, but he fits in that division, given his size, his physicality, his ferocious play, all that stuff. He just fits in perfectly for what the Steelers want to do. And stuff like that. So Pittsburgh goes Jackson Powers Johnson here at pick 15. Makes a whole bunch of sense here. With the 16th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks will be selecting offensive tackle Troy Fautanu out of Washington. This pick makes a whole bunch of sense because if you look at the situation last year, the Seahawks really struggled efficiently trying to run the football. So getting a guy like Troy Fautanu who has the size, he's very vicious with his hands, very efficient at just holding or keep himself upright, does his job. He can play pretty much at all sides of the football on the offensive line. He's just a guy I think he fits in tremendously for what the Seahawks want to do and stuff like that. And I think improves the run game, like I said just a moment ago. It improves the run game because given his size and given what he's done in college, he's given running backs an opportunities to go up the hole and do their thing in the run game. So this Seahawks team, like I said, they have the coaches, more of defensive-minded coaches, but Troy Fautanu, I think, fits in well for what the Seahawks want to do. And like I said, I think it improves their offense tremendously. Geno Smith is still their guy at quarterback, so you got to protect him. You know, people want to say, well, they can go Michael Penix Jr. with this pick. You could. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, though. I think, Geno Smith can still play. He's not a scrub. So you protect him at all costs. The Seahawks can be a sleeper next year. I'm not saying a sleeper in terms of Super Bowl, but, they can sneak in the playoffs here in the weak NFC with this pick. So Troy Fautanu fits the description for what the Seahawks want to do. With the 17th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting cornerback Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense, too, because the Jacksonville Jaguars really struggled in the back end of that defense towards the end of last year, really giving up a lot of points on that side of the ball. I think Quinion Mitchell comes in here, and like I said, he's been sliding up in a lot of people's draft boards. He had a great Senior Bowl, all that stuff. I think this is a dude that you look at, he's skinny, but he is not scared of no one. He's always up for the challenge, and I think he makes any defense, whether if he's selected here at Jacksonville or elsewhere, I think he can improve an NFL defense a lot, given his skill set. He's at the right spots at the right time. He's always batting balls down. Like I said, he's just there, just disruptive, basically. He's a disruptive guy who doesn't make things easy and frustrates a lot of wide receivers. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are getting a gift, in my opinion, with this pick, as they do need to improve that defense, especially on the back end. With the 18th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals will be selecting defensive tackle Byron Murphy II out of Texas. Now, I decided to go in a different direction here with this pick. Originally, in my other mocks, I had the Bengals going offensive tackle, which I think they do need to go in terms of trying to protect Joe Burrow at all costs. But Byron Murphy II is a monster. You look at his stats in college. This dude is just always at the right spots at the right time. Just very, very disruptive. He's physical. He is not scared. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle in this draft. And I think the Bengals would appreciate having his services on their team, in my opinion. I think he fits in tremendously in the AFC North. Like I said, given his skill set, I think he makes the Bengals defense that much better as they do. Byron Murphy brings a lot of pass rush that the Bengals really haven't been able to generate last year on a consistent basis. So Byron Murphy, the second to the Cincinnati Bengals, I think it makes a whole bunch of sense. I think it makes their defense that much more elite and will keep them in games given his consistency at getting to the quarterback. With the 19th overall pick, I have the Los Angeles Rams selecting offense tackle J.C. Latham out of Alabama. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense because, I understand that Aaron Donald just retired and stuff like that. You need to address that position at edge rusher. But at the end of the day, Matthew Stafford is your quarterback. Now, hear me out when I say this. Matthew Stafford is your quarterback. He is getting up there in age. So what's the most important thing for a guy like Matthew Stafford who has taken a lot of hits throughout his NFL career? Give him protection on the offensive line. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense in terms of trying to protect Stafford at all costs. Now, Stafford has had a pretty solid career, okay? He's made the playoffs consistently and all that stuff. So if the Rams want to get back there next year in the playoffs, you got to protect Matthew Stafford. It starts in the trenches, in my opinion. And you can't go wrong with going edge rusher because you do need, they were one of the worst teams last year and generate pass rush. But I think J.C. Latham makes a whole bunch of sense for the Los Angeles Rams, as you do need to protect Matthew Stafford at all costs if the Rams want to get anywhere in 2024. With the 20th pick, I have the Colts trading back with the Steelers, and I have them picking a cornerback, Nate Wiggins, out of Clemson. I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense, too, because you look at the situation, Nate Wiggins, given his size and the type of year that he had at Clemson, he would just take the Colts defense to another level. Nate Wiggins fits the description for what the Colts want to do. Now, you could make an argument. You could go Brock Bowers because you could give another weapon to Anthony Richardson to rely upon late in games. But they do need some improvements on the back end of that defense. I think Nate Wiggins or even Quinton Mitchell would fit in tremendously with the Colts and would make their defense competitive in terms of trying to make the playoff push next year. So I like this pick for the Colts here at pick 20. With the 21st overall pick, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting defensive tackle Jer'Zhan Newton out of Illinois. This pick makes a whole bunch of sense too because, you just lost Christian Wilkins to free agency. So the Miami Dolphins need to address this position, period, at the end of the day. Now, you can't go wrong with going offensive tackle because Tua is in conversations in terms of getting an extension. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get an extension or whatever. I don't know what the case is there, but whatever the case is, the Dolphins need to address this position. They haven't really done much in free agency. So I think getting a guy like Jer'Zhan Newton, I don't think the Dolphins can afford to miss on this pick. Like I said, Christian Wilkins left in free agency to the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think you need to get your guy here in the draft, and Jer'Zhan Newton, who has the skill set to play in the NFL. Obviously, his size, very ferocious, very disruptive. And I think he can make the Dolphins defense even better. Even Christian Wilkins was a good talent, but I think Jer'Zhan Newton, the type of year he had at Illinois, I think he can translate that into the pros here at Miami Dolphins here at pick 21. With the 22nd overall pick, I have the New Orleans Saints trading back with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I have them picking offense tackle Amarius Mims out of Georgia. I mean, this is one of the biggest needs for the New Orleans Saints, offense tackle or defensive line. I think offense tackle is more important because Derek Carr is still your quarterback and stuff like that. And Amarius Mims, I know he hasn't really played much in college and stuff like that, but you could slide him in right away, or you can maybe sit him a year. I know some teams, whatever team he ends up on, he could probably sit a year and learn before playing because some scouts don't think he's ready to play right away. But Amarius Mims, like I said, this is one of the needs for the New Orleans Saints. Whether if he plays or not, I think this is a significant upgrade for the offensive line. I think he can protect and give Derek Carr all the time to throw the ball down the field and stuff like that. So I think this pick makes a whole bunch of sense for the Saints here at pick 22. With the 23rd overall pick, the New England Patriots will be selecting wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. Huge, huge pickup for the New England Patriots. Something I've been saying all along. They need an offensive line, which I already said earlier in the draft process, and they need playmakers on the outside. Brian Thomas Jr. fits the description for what the Patriots need desperately on that side of the ball. Playmakers. Brian Thomas Jr. brings just an all-around player who can pretty much do anything on that side of the ball. He can play make. He can run deep routes. He can do his job and catch. He can get yards after the catch, which is something the Patriots have lacked. You know, you look at last year, the Patriots, every time someone catches the ball, they don't get any yards after the catch. Brian Thomas Jr. brings another demeanor to that Patriots offense, and I think he improves that offense significantly, which, like I said, is something that the Patriots desperately need, something we haven't had, and stuff like that. The Patriots have to hit on this too, because the wide receiver group that we currently have, you know, Kendrick Bourne is our best wide receiver. He's our number one wide receiver. But I think if you get Brian Thomas Jr., he can be our best, obviously, he can be our best receiver on the team. No questions asked. I mean, he just brings a lot of, he just checks all the boxes for the Patriots, something the Patriots haven't had really since Randy Moss. So Brian Thomas Jr. here at pick 23, I think this makes a whole bunch of sense for the Patriots to trade back and get an offense tackle and get a wide receiver, as they desperately need to fill in a bunch of holes, not just quarterback, but like I said, all the stuff I just mentioned, offense tackle, wide receiver, all that stuff. So Brian Thomas here at pick 23 for the New England Patriots. With the 24th overall pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys selecting wide receiver A.D. Mitchell out of Texas. I decided to go in a different direction here with this pick because originally my last mock draft, I had the Cowboys taking a center and stuff like that. But A.D. Mitchell, like I said, gives Dak Prescott another weapon to rely upon down the field. A.D. Mitchell, just looking at the type of year he had at Texas, he just looks like a Cowboy. He looks like he can go in there and fit in right away and improve that Cowboys offense, as some of the receivers like Brendan Cooks and all that just didn't really get the production that the Cowboys needed last year. So I think they need to improve upon that by getting a guy like A.D. Mitchell or even a Keon Coleman with this pick. I mean, either one of those picks would make the Cowboys that much more elite offensively. So I like this pick for the Cowboys, as, like I said, they're a team that's trying to go all in, even though they haven't been successful at it. But getting a guy like A.D. Mitchell, I think, improves the offense significantly here at pick 24. With the 25th overall pick, I have the Buffalo Bills train up with the Green Bay Packers. Packers get picks 28, 128, 2025 third round pick, and the Bills get pick 25 here. So with that being said, not much discussion here. The Bills will be getting their guy, Cooper DeJean, out of Iowa. Hear me out on this, okay? You just lost Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde to free agency. So there's a hole open in that back end of that defense. The Buffalo Bills need to address that. I know that they want to get a receiver like A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy, who is rumored to go there. But like Cooper DeJean, you get a guy like Cooper DeJean on your team. Like I said, he's very versatile. He can play safety, cornerback. He can even play punt returner if you need him to. He can, like I say, a very versatile player at the right spots at the right time. He's made a bunch of crucial plays for the Iowa Hawkeyes last year in college. Just go watch his highlights. I mean, I think he fits in really well with the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, they lost those two guys, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, to free agency. You got to address this position for the Buffalo Bills. If the Buffalo Bills want to win the division next year, if they want to continue to make the playoffs and even get to the Super Bowl, possibly, we'll see, then you got to get a guy like Cooper DeJean. If you don't address this position, this defense is going to struggle next year. I think Cooper DeJean comes in right away and makes an immediate impact to the Buffalo Bills defense here at pick 25. With the 26th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be getting their guy, edge rusher Laiatu Latu, out of UCLA. I like this pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, look at the situation. You got Baker Mayfield re-signed to a 3-year deal. You got Mike Evans re-signed. So what better way than to get a guy like Laiatu Latu, edge rusher, for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I think he fits in really, really well. He fits the description to what Tampa Bay wants to do. I think it makes that defense that much more elite on the side, given his skill set. Now, some people are probably wondering, like, why don't I have Laiatu Latu higher in the draft? Well, given his medical history, he had to medically retire in college. So a lot of people have him slipping in the draft boards, which I could see happening because, I mean, that's a serious situation. You have a guy who medically retired and he had a bounce back year last year. This dude's a hell of a talent. And like I said, if he ends up slipping, I think one of these teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or even Detroit Lions, if he ends up falling that far, could, Laiatu Latu could improve either one of those defenses by a mile. It's not even close, given his skill set. So I like this pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as, like I said, a team that won the division last year. I think bringing back most of their guys, they didn't really lose much offensively. Now, if you could just get a guy like him on defense, you're pretty much set there. So I like the direction that Tampa Bay is going here. So Laiatu Latu here at pick 26 for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With the 27th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals will be selecting offense tackle Graham Barton out of Duke. This pick is a great pickup for the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, you got your guy Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 4th overall pick. So, in my opinion, get a guy like a Graham Barton who can protect Kyler Murray at all costs. Period. End of the story. The Arizona Cardinals didn't have the best year last year, okay? But they did show some flashes where I think they could be a really good team if they just get the pieces to surround Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside at wide receiver. Getting a guy for the interior of the offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals and Graham Barton. I think it's a significant upgrade, and I think Kyler Murray would appreciate having a guy like a Graham Barton who has a size, who can hold his own, and can give Kyler Murray time to throw the football down the field. I think it's a win-win situation for the Arizona Cardinals. I like this pick for the Arizona Cardinals here at pick 27. I just think it makes a whole bunch of sense if the Cardinals want to improve next year and possibly make a playoff push next year. With the 28th overall pick, I have the Green Bay Packers trading back a few spots with the Buffalo Bills, and I have them taking offense tackle Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I mean, I've been saying this for a while now. The type of year that Jordan Love had last year is significantly important for the Green Bay Packers to protect Jordan Love at all costs. Get a guy like Tyler Guyton who's 6'7", who has size. Now, he is a bit raw, but I think those are fixable issues that he can fix. I think this guy is a great piece for a Jordan Love. It gives Jordan Love more time to throw the ball down the field. And I just think he fits in well with the Green Bay Packers here. Now, you could go cornerback because they do need help in the back end of that defense as well. Like Cooper DeJean, you can get him. You can get Nate Wiggins or even Kool-Aid McKinstry for the cornerback position. But I just like, I was debating between going Tyler Guyton to Dallas, but I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, Jordan Love had a great year last year, so why not give him more help on the offensive line? I think Green Bay Packers are going in the right direction here. I think if you get this guy at pick 28, you're pretty much set on that side of the ball, and it's just gonna make the Packers offense that much more better, in my opinion. So I like this pick for the Green Bay Packers here at pick 28. With the 29th overall pick, the Detroit Lions will be selecting edge rusher Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Like I've been saying in my last mock, I like this pick a lot for the Detroit Lions. I just think Chop Robinson fits in to a Dan Campbell-led team. Chop Robinson pretty much brings all the physical tools that the Detroit Lions need, and I think it just improves their defense that much better, in my opinion. Something that the Detroit Lions have struggled with is the edge rusher position, and I think Chop Robinson comes in and, like I said, given his skill set, he's very disruptive, very scary, and a guy that I would not want to go up against if you're an offense. Like I said, you're gonna have to try to double team this guy. Like I said before, I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but he reminds me a little bit of Aaron Donald, just given his ferocious, just his continuous work ethic finishing plays to the whistle blows, and this dude just doesn't take plays off. I just think his hard work fits what the Detroit Lions want to do. I just think this is a phenomenal pickup, as they do need help on that side. I think this makes the Lions defense that much better, in my opinion here. So Chop Robinson here at pick 29 for the Detroit Lions. With the 30th overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens will be selecting cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. I mean, this is a great pickup for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry is sliding down in a lot of people's draft boards because he had a foot fracture. But, Kool-Aid McKinstry has the size, and I just think he fits in really, really well with the Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, just knowing their style of play, they rely in the trenches on the offensive line, and they rely on just relentless defense. And I think Kool-Aid McKinstry comes in here with this pick, knowing that the Baltimore Ravens love picking guys from Alabama. I think this continues. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry fits the description for what the Ravens want to do on that side of the ball here, pick 30. With the 31st overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers will be selecting edge rusher Darius Robinson out of Missouri. I mean, if you look at Darius Robinson, look at his highlights, just looking at just him as a player, he checks all the boxes for what the 49ers need. I mean, 6'5", of just a ferocious animal on that side of the ball, just angry, he's ferocious, just consistently getting to the quarterback. I think this is something the 49ers really need. Now, you could make an argument, you could go offensive line here, because you could look at the Super Bowl, the offensive line really cost them in that Super Bowl. But Darius Robinson, like I said, given his size, and this is one of the needs for the San Francisco 49ers. I think he fits the description for what they want to do defensively. I think he fits in for that 49ers defense, who I think is already, if not one of the best in football. So why not get a guy like him to plug in that defense and just continue to make that defense even more scary? And the San Francisco 49ers, they're going to continue to be in the Super Bowl conversation each and every year. So I think Darius Robinson would come in there and make an immediate impact for what he did in college into the pros. So I like this pick here for the San Francisco 49ers at pick 31. And with the last pick of the first round, your two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will be selecting their guy, wide receiver Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Now, hear me out with this pick, okay? Keon Coleman has the size. He's always catching footballs consistently. And it's something Patrick Mahomes can rely upon a guy like Keon Coleman to catch balls. He doesn't drop balls at all. He's always catching the football, and it's something that if the Chiefs need someone to make a play late in games, Keon Coleman is that guy who can go out and make you a play late in games. He can go out and win you a game. I think Patrick Mahomes would appreciate having a guy like Keon Coleman on his team. I think, in my opinion, I just think this is a tremendous fit. And it's a significant upgrade for what the Chiefs had last year. They did win the Super Bowl last year. I get that. But they still need to address this position, in my opinion. I think this Keon Coleman is a sleeper. I think he can, slide in the late first round here, just given his overall skill set. And I just think, like I said, just the overall fit just makes too much sense for the Chiefs to pass up upon. Like I said, he can play make. He's always catching the football. He's never dropping footballs. And like I said, something that Patrick Mahomes can rely late in games. So this pick makes a whole bunch of sense for the Kansas City Chiefs as they try to three-peat here next year. We'll see what happens there, but I like this pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's my full mock draft result. Caleb Williams at number 1, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Roman Dunze, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, Jared Verse, JJ McCarthy, Brock Bowers, Olu Fashanu, Dallas Turner, Talise Fuaga, Terrion Arnold, Jackson Powers Johnson, Troy Fatanu, Quinny Mitchell, Byron Murphy II, J.C. Latham, Nate Wiggins, Johnny Newton, Amarius Mims, Brian Thomas Jr., A.D. Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Leatu Latu, Graham Barton, Tyler Guyton, Chop Robinson, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Darius Robinson, and Keon Coleman. Now I'll do it for my NFL Mock Draft 5.0. Comment your thoughts below. Like, share, subscribe. Do you guys agree, disagree? What picks will you have changed? Let me know down below. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts and perspectives. As always, thank you guys for tuning in to the video. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you guys so much. And as always, until the next video, this is Keaton Talk Sports. Peace out.